What's going on? What's going on? This is Ugo Opara, PA licensed real estate agent and investor. And today I bring you, drum rolls please, the first YouTube question video of 2021. Brought to you by, oh, that was lame. It was supposed to just go to the next slide and it didn't go to the next slide. Anyways, brought to you by the lovely Miss Cheryl. What's going on? Miss Cheryl writes us. She says, "Hi Ugo, Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's, Cheryl. How you doing? My husband and I live in Bayonne. I know I said that wrong. I know I said that wrong. We are looking to relocate to Delaware. Boom. We're gonna be your real estate. We're gonna. You're already. We're gonna help you in Delaware. We can help you in Delaware. We recently viewed some of your videos on YouTube, which was very informative. Thank you. Thank you. We have a question. Should we work with a Philadelphia office to qualify or for our NACA loan, or should we work with the New Jersey office? Please let us know. Thanks again for doing what you do to empower the community." That last one got me. Oh, you're welcome. So just a couple things for those of you that are not aware. There is a NACA office in Philadelphia, and there is a NACA office in Newark, New Jersey. And I also believe that there is now a satellite office in Delaware itself. So this is a great question. Thank you, Ms. Cheryl. Let's go ahead and answer it. Boom. There we go. So which NACA office to work with? And the answer is it doesn't really matter as much. And I want to dive in and talk about why it doesn't really matter as much. COVID-19 has really drastically changed, as you can imagine. As you can imagine, how a lot of people do business, and NACA was equally affected. Visitations to the office, which used to be the bane, which used to be annoying for a lot of people, especially depending on your distance to getting to the office, was very frustrating. So that used to be the number one deciding factor for which office am I going to choose with. So if you're in New York and you live in you live in North Jersey area, New York was always best for you. If you're in South Jersey, then the Philadelphia office worked for you. But now that almost all of the appointments have become virtual, it's almost irrelevant. It's almost irrelevant which office you pick, right, or who you decide to work with. Because the paperwork that you are signing and sending, everything that you need to do as far as like documentation wise, signature wise, whatever, can all be scanned up. Now you need to have a really good scanner. You need to have a really good scanner, and you need to have solid internet. But all appointments have become virtual, and whatever that's needed of you, you can print it out, sign it, and scan it back up. So for those reasons, along with the fact that everyone wants to be social distancing, a lot of the counselors are not working remotely. The Philly office isn't always open, right? You might have one person in the office, two people in the office, no one in the office. They're working on, and everyone's working like this. There's a lot of fluidity between working at home, staying at home and working, being efficient, going into the office and being efficient. Well, there's a lot of influx in that. So because of COVID-19, the importance of which office you work with has really watered itself down. So it doesn't really matter, right? So now let's talk about something else, which is remote counseling. So what is remote counseling? Remote counseling is when you have someone that's helping you get qualified, right? But they're not in New Jersey, they're not in Philadelphia. We don't know where they're at. They're somewhere in the USA. They're not even in your state or even in your area or even in your region. They may or may not be, but they're typically just somewhere in the United States, and they work on your file virtually. When I was going through the NACA program back in 2016, I ended up leaving the Philly office and I started doing remote counseling. And remote counseling was phenomenal. It was fantastic. I remember, I think I had a 9 to 5. I don't know what I had, but I remember being at the office, the real estate office, and just communicating with the counselor. And they were like, "Oh, we need you to send such and such." And I would take a break and then during my lunch break, I would just send everything in. And then they would email me back like maybe an hour later and say, "Oh, thanks, we got everything." or like, oh, one of the things you sent me, can you initial and date it, or what? It was just it was very awesome, because I would just check my emails constantly, or put the notification on. The moment that person emailed me, I'd get a notification and I'd attack whatever they wanted me to do. And that process just moved faster. And what I loved was this person was really hungry. I mean, they were like, the vibe was just there. Like, I want to get qualified. They wanted me to get qualified, and we were just going tit for tat, whatever we need to do to make it happen. So I loved it. I loved it, loved it, loved it. No shade to the Philly office or anything like that, and not at all. I think remote counseling is phenomenal, right? And right now, though, the significance of remote counseling is blurred, because we just mentioned that the Philly office and the Newark office, the counselors now are all working remotely anyway. So they're also working on your file virtually. So the lines between remote counseling and the lines between working with a local mortgage counselor at your local NACA office are starting to become really, really blurred. And if you ask me, I'm about to go on a rant. So fair warning, it never made sense to me why NACA didn't just have some type of data warehouse where all you had were a bunch of people that were working on getting people qualified. That's all they did, was get people qualified, looking at files, reviewing it, getting people qualified. That's all they did. That way, you would significantly free up the Philly office to handle things like credit access, bank app, people that were under contract, things of that nature. You don't need, to my knowledge, for the data entry, um, you don't need to be licensed to do that. You could just be data entry. So what COVID is doing now is it's really starting to bring to light, like, hey, there's an easier way to do these things, and the technology is here, and the software is here, and the structure is here to really help revamp all these things. So I'm excited for it. So to answer your question, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you work with the Newark office. Doesn't matter if you work with the Philly office. Doesn't matter if you do remote counseling, because right now, based on what's going on with COVID-19 and social distancing and people working from home and telecommuting, all that stuff, what a year 2020 was. The lines are really blurred. The lines are really blurred. What I would recommend doing is just starting off the rip, going remote counseling, and then leveraging Achieve the Dream events when they come by to trying to accelerate your process, right? But I just want to, with all of that in mind, I want to preface and go into my last bullet point. NACA is a fantastic program, but they have been congested for a long time. They were congested before, and they're still congested now. I put congesting, it should be congested. There was congestion before, and there's congestion now, not congesting. Sorry about that. Um, and that's just is what it is, right? NACA sucks, right? When we talk about like the the process, it is a painful process. It is unnecessarily long. Are unnecessary frictions with this whole qualification process that don't need to be there. That just don't need to exist. My clients shouldn't have to upload stuff 7 times. You know what I mean? My clients shouldn't have to email, text, call just to get somebody, a week later, 2 weeks later, 3, whatever, to help them out with something, right? It doesn't make any sense right now as I'm talking to y'all. It doesn't make any sense that if one of my clients wants to get started with the NACA program, they have to wait for a workshop in March. It's January. Why are they waiting until March? And it's virtual. It's not even like we need the space anymore. Why isn't the presentation pre-recorded and someone can watch it, take away the same information, but now they're not waiting until March to get started. They can get started right now, right? There's so much technology out there that NACA can implement, that NACA can use to really streamline this process so people aren't waiting months to get qualified. You know what I mean? It should only take a month or two to get you qualified, um, maybe 3 months at most. So from start to finish, it'll take you 6 months versus some people that aren't qualified until they're in their 6 month, which I think is a big waste of time, especially with the speed of the market right now. You know what I mean? So there are so many things that NACA is missing. There's so many things that they suck at. There's so many things that are desired. There's so many things that it just doesn't make any sense that they don't have it in place. Like the software that they're using, it's too much. It's too much to really wrap my head around. But it's just so annoyingly frustrating when I'm doing my best with my clients and their spirits are getting beat down because NACA, which is supposed to be helping the people, are they're causing unnecessary frustrations. Unnecessary frustrations. But even with everything that I just said, even with how much I detest the way that NACA operates, the product that they provide is hands down the best mortgage product for first-time home buyers that I've ever come across in my entire life. It's pure gold. That NACA joint is fire. That NACA mortgage is fire. NACA is the heavyweight, undisputed best thing for a first-time home buyer that I've ever come across. And I have yet to find anything that even comes close to NACA. That comes close to giving you the bundle of benefits that you get, right? Some of them might give you one here and one here, but the bundle of services that you get and all wrapped up into a NACA mortgage, I haven't been able to find anything that can even touch NACA, not even close. So as much as I despise the journey to get someone from start to finish, I cannot thank NACA enough for the product that they provide because it is fire and it is doing so much good. It is saving people literally tens of thousands of dollars getting into the property and tens of thousands of dollars for the life of that loan. Phenomenal. NACA will always get my gratitude. I will always support this company, and I will always do my best to make sure that any company that I am backing, that I am supporting, that I own, will always open its arms to NACA members and will support NACA members 100% as much as we can. So with that being said, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you go. It's all going to be a sucky process. It's all going to be a sucky process, but in the end, you're going to have a phenomenal mortgage, and you're not going to have any regrets. You're not going to have any regrets. And one of the craziest things, and this is interesting because every time I meet with a client, we're super excited about this NACA journey, and then we get started, and it wears us down, and we mother effing hate NACA. We don't understand why does this happen. Why do we have to keep sending this paperwork that they've already sent last week over again? What's taking so long? Why do they randomly cancel the appointment and ain't nobody give me any notice? And now the next appointment isn't until a month and a half from now? Yo, yo, what's up? Somebody got to see me outside. So we always start the process. It wears us down, and then we hate the process, and then we get qualified, and then we go back up and we love NACA again. And then we're struggling with getting under contract. Now we hate NACA. And then we get under contract. Now we love NACA. And then hand department tells us we need to tear the house down and build a new one. So now we hate NACA. And then we get that overcame, and we go under we get the settlement, and we get to the table, and we have a 1.375 interest rate, a 1.1 interest rate, a 0.875 interest rate, a 0.625 interest rate on a 30-year mortgage. Beautiful. A very tiny amount of money that we had to bring to the settlement table. Beautiful. And the best part, and I never get tired of this, is you look at everything that you got at that settlement table, and you compare it with what you would have paid had you gone the normal route, FHA, another conventional route, whatever. You compare it to that, and you just gotta you just sit to yourself like, NAC is amazing. Just day and night with the odds, what the comparisons are. Even when you throw a grant in there or something like that, you just still can't beat what NACA gives you. So with that being said, Miss Cheryl, I'm really excited for you and your husband. The journey will not be easy. It will be annoying. You will want to give up, but don't. It's going to be absolutely worth it. Which office you decide to work with, is irrelevant. I highly recommend that you start remote counseling and you just kind of take it from there. So I hope that that's helpful. I hope that that's answered your question. Thank you so much for being my first YouTube question for 2021. My name is Ugo Opara, PA licensed real estate agent and investor, and I am signing out. I will talk to you next time. And the only thing that I ask of you all to do is hit that like button. Hit that like button. That is how we grow what we are able to do here, and we make sure that YouTube puts some respect on the name. So hit the like button and then share the video on wherever you're at on social media, or share it with a friend. Whatever the case may be, let's get the word out. Always check the descriptions. I leave all my links there on how to get in contact with me. So definitely make sure you guys check the descriptions. Other than that, I'm out of here. Thanks.